Hello, Mike. Thanks for submitting your video to the Golf Digest Challenge. My name is Mike Davis. I'm a teaching pro in Southern California at Shady Canyon Golf Club. I'm going to let this video roll one more time in slow motion, then I'm going to address your swing and your comments. I think I got a couple things you can work on. But to be truthfully, Mike, hitting at 240 to 260 with a slight draw is pretty strong. I'm sure a lot of people would trade that in for what they got. So let's go ahead and let's break this into an 8-frame sequence here, Mike. And there's a couple things. I'm going to focus in on two things, basically. Number one, let's define these positions here. Top left corner would be frame number 1. Bottom right would be number 8. So in the number 1 position and the number 4 position, I'm going to focus some of my comments in there. Okay, so we'll break this down, get you in the number 1 position. Now, I think you may have a little bit too much spine tilt here, Mike. The reason I say that is it's just a pretty good lean over the ball. You almost have your hands underneath your chest instead of underneath your shoulders. What happens a lot of times, if I draw I'm just going to draw a line up the shaft here. And I'm going to put you at impact as close as I can. Kind of a strange camera angle. It's hard to see impact, but your hands and your shaft are coming through somewhat on this line. So there's a big, you're definitely rising up through the ball. And here's your red, and in red will be your spine angle through impact. Impact, address. So we'll do address in orange. So therefore, if you're rising up anyway, maybe we should start there. There are a couple other things when you have I would call what you have as a low hand position. I have the same position. It tends to pick the club up a little bit, open the face a little bit on the way back, and tend to hit down steep. It wouldn't be surprised if that's your setup for your irons, that you take some pretty good divots and put a lot of spin on the ball. So the other thing with the low hand position here is when we get our hands low, it tends to get the grip way in the fingertips, which tends to be a very, very strong grip. That could be part of why you hit the duck hook. The other thing, when you have a low hand position and you hit down on the ball with a driver, it tends to push it right up in the air, put a lot of spin on it, and tend to go a little bit to the right. Other than that, Mike, you got a pretty nice swing sequence here. Now what I'm going to do is split the screen at this point, and I'm going to put somebody with a driver next door to you here. Let's use Aaron Baddeley. He's got a very good, very, very neutral, good setup. Okay, so I'm going to slide you down, make you a little bigger. It's going to be a little grainy, but there's nothing we can do about that. Okay, now I'm going to draw lines to create positions here. Number 1, very straight-legged. Not in love with that at all, Mike. I think we need to have a little dynamic balance here, or static balance, I should say. A little bit more knee flex, okay? And the problem on your side there is when you get to the top, that's completely straight. When Aaron Baddeley gets to the top of his swing, still has that knee flex. You can see that. It creates much, much better coil. You also, if I highlight this area here around his knees, you can see there's not a lot of spacing in between his knees. In your area here, I can see all the way through to the ground, there's a lot of spacing there. So I would try to create more coil with your lower body. You want to turn against that right knee instead of letting that right knee straighten. When the right knee straightens, the right hip gets behind you, and who knows what can happen from there. It could be the entire gamut of misses that you've got. You've got high slices to duck hooks. That's about everything as polar opposite as you can get as far as golf shots. So let's just clear up some of these lines. I'm going to let these things play in slow motion together, and you can just see with your own eyes some differences and similarities in the swings here. So here you are at the top, pretty good. Hard to tell with the camera. Look at that finish. Look like a tour player, for goodness sake. Now, to your credit, you have a very, very good finish. You can see the bottom, the sole of his shoe there, the sole of your shoe there. You're absolutely getting to your left side and getting great weight transfer. Total release of the club, shaft across the back. I think that's fantastic. So, Mike, hopefully this will help you a little bit in your golf game. Like I said, 240 to 260 is pretty good. If we can control the misses, I think it'll help you a lot. I think the two things that are going to help you the most are, number one, if you can get the shaft angle up a little bit at address, call it a high hand position if you want to. Maybe something into here. Maybe a little bit more flex this way. Spine angle. Something like that. Then maintain that right knee flex. And you'll probably will hit the ball further. You'll create better coil. And the other thing, really quick, I'm just going to zoom this in a little bit so maybe you can see this easier. I cannot see your front, which would be your left forearm or your left shoulder at this point, and I'm just going to advance this a little bit at a time till we can see it. Okay, right there. So I'm guessing the club went, let's see, 1, 2, 3 frames. It probably went 4 or 5 inches back before I can start to see this curve. Now I can start to see this curve of your front forearm. Okay, so back of frame, can't see it. Now you can see it. Now we can see it even more. So I think you're starting a little open in your setup. So go ahead and try to square up those shoulders, relax that right arm a little bit. I think a lot of these things are going to be static adjustments, and that's another big cause of a slice is open shoulders with a driver. So Mike, good luck to you. Thanks so much for sending in your video to the Golf Digest Challenge. Hopefully this will help you. If you'd like to communicate with me, here's my name and my email address. Pop me a note if you'd like to. Good luck to you. Have a great summer and enjoy your game. Bye-bye.